So I want to talk about when it's time to just let go of this world altogether. And I have to drive off. Oh, I'm looking at a text message. I just saw, and I get this quite a bit times. Let me tell you something. I've been having this issue where people have been more than likely confusing me with other people since I can't remember. So recently at a home health place that I work, there is a patient complaint about the amount of time I'm spending with a particular patient. And I said, wait a minute, I don't even remember this person. Do I know them? And then I looked because the patient's family complained that I guess they said you are not spending enough. You're rushing your visits. I said, wait a minute, I don't know this person. It turned out I only seen that person one time to do a reassessment to continue therapy. But before that, she was seen by somebody else. But I went to see them for a reassessment because that person had to take off. Like the other occupational therapist had to go on vacation or something. I don't know. So I looked at the previous visits. I said, because this family complained that I'm rushing visits with an S, visits, like treatment, like she's getting like exercise or therapy. And they're complaining that I'm rushing her, but I've never worked with her. I just went one time to do a reassessment because that one occupational therapist for some reason had to take off. And so I say it to say, this person, I don't even know if they even remember who I am. They're mixing me up with somebody else. And we don't even look alike. This other person is Hispanic. But if you say I'm rushing visits and I never worked with you before, then you can, once again, I've got this quite a few times where I've been mixed up with other people. And that only lets me know one thing, because it's not about this particular job. It's time to leave this world behind. It's time to go towards perfection, where this type of stuff don't happen. It's time to leave the flaws alone. Leave the imperfection of humanity. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. Because people are locked up in prison. This is like very small. This is very, very, very tiny compared to people who have to spend life in prison, or people who have been executed or whatever over something that they did not do. And then when the people realize they might have been wrong, it might have been mistaken, they don't go back and correct the mistake. But my thing is, if you put somebody in prison for life, there's no going back and correcting that, honestly. It's almost like a person for a person. Like, I'm sorry, what can you do to give that person their time back? Apology is just not going to work. If you have executed like electrocution or whatever they used to have, the capital punishment, you cannot go back and say, oops, I made a mistake. And there's no apologies for that. There's no apologies. And so I say that to say that it's just really beyond time to let this world go and move more into perfection. It's time to become more perfect. People say you can't be perfect. Well, no, I beg to differ. You can be perfect. You can always be better than what you are. You can always rise beyond the ego. Because the ego is the problem. The ego world is the problem. That's why you have so many mistakes. It's because of the ego world. People are flawed. And it's really humankind. It's mankind, humankind. It's not even the real humans. This is like an ego world. It's like a virtual reality. It's not even real people. It's humankind. It's time to leave this world alone. Like, it's time to literally leave this world alone and get to more perfection. Because this right here, I've already seen this many times. But imagine the people who have gone to prison by mistake because somebody else, either it could have been a mistake, or even they could have even lied on them. But people's identities have been mistaken so many times. Or then somebody can just outright lie on them. And and then the system is just failing them. But see, this is what the problem, because even as humankind, we've been told not to trust into the system. We've already been told not to do that. And it's also not to lean into your own understanding. But many people have put trust and faith in the system, and when the system fails them, people get disappointed. Well, people get disappointed because there needs to be a higher power. It needs to be a higher power more than where, you presently are. And when I say you, I'm talking about people in general. There needs to be something higher than where you presently are, because where you presently are, you're paying bills. And that is not a supreme power where you're paying bills, especially when nothing is supposed to be separated. I mean, paying bills is basically suggesting that you are separate from everything. And really, the truth is you're not separate from everything. You're one with everything. But we are living a life as being separate. So there is a supreme power. I don't care if you call it a version of yourself or however you want to see it. But there is something higher than where you presently are. Right? And so when people don't want to lean onto that and rather lean onto the system, this is the type of stuff we get right here. But yeah, that's all I want to talk about that briefly. But yeah, it's just time to let this world go, because this type of stuff right here, where people, clearly this person have me misunderstood with somebody else, because I've never, this person said I'm rushing visits. No, I'm not rushing visits, because I never worked with that person. I just seen them one time to do a reassessment to put them back on therapy. So I've never done any kind of exercise or any multiple visits with them to say that I'm rushing visits. So they have me. They clearly, I can expect, when I do a reassessment or an evaluation, I'm in there, I'm with them for at least about 45 minutes. And then it takes me another almost 30 minutes to put the note in. So that means I'm like an hour and 15 minutes. So they couldn't be talking about that, because anytime I do a reassessment or an evaluation, it takes me a while. And then I let them know this is a reassessment just to continue your visits. This is not a therapy treatment. This is a reassessment to continue your visits. So that let me know they're not talking about me. Once again, folks have me mistaken for somebody else. Okay? And because of a mistake, then I have to deal with whatever it is people mistake. And then once they realize they made a mistake, they're not going to go back and correct it, because for some reason that just does not happen. They're not going to go back and correct the mistake. And that's why I said it's not just this company. This happens a lot. And that's why I say it's just time to leave this world as it is behind it. People are too wicked anyway to even put up with this world. People are too wicked anyway. But anyway, that's it, and I'll talk later.